Hello, Cleveland, and everyone from everywhere else. Welcome to your roughly 10-minute TA for Monday, May 26, 2025. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. Or a somber Memorial Day. I guess it's not really a happy holiday because we're celebrating the memory of those who died. But it is a holiday nonetheless, and I hope everyone had a good holiday. Sorry for missing yesterday's show. I went to a concert and got home kind of late and I didn't have time to do it. So I apologize for that. I'll get into the weekly candle close tonight to make up for it. And so before we get started, please give me a like, give me a subscribe, and let's dive into these charts. So we'll start here on the weekly. I will read the numbers. The Olik. It's this week. It was a pretty good week. Started the week off at 104. We got to a high of 111.965 and 80 cents. We got a low of 102.85. And we got a close. We closed the week off at 109,004. 109,004 and 20 cents. Yeah, pretty good week. Pretty good week. What's coming next? Well, things are still looking more bullish than bearish here on the weekly. So we got our bull flag still. We got our smaller one, if you're measuring from here. The smaller one measures up to about 120. The cup and handle here, that one has a measured move up to 130. And our bigger bull flag measurement has a measurement up to about 150. So, bullish signs here. We do have, or bullish patterns here. We do have a double top possibly forming, however. Now, if this double top did play down, well, then it's playing down to where it started, which should be down here. At the 786 retracement for this bull flag. If we got that low, I wouldn't think that the bull flag was still going to play out to 150 this cycle. It could end up going sideways for a little while, but I think that if we make it down that far, we'll see the extension of that double bottom. It'll play out down to roughly the extension of it. Let me draw it out. How would it play out? It'll probably play out like this. Like it comes around down here and then it keeps coming down. Has some pop-ups here and there. Gets down to about there. Pops up big. Scares everybody. Or not scares everyone. Gets everybody like, frothing at the mouth. Then it dumps back even lower. Kind of stalls around here for a second. And then gets here. And the extension happens. And that plays down to roughly 30K. And that would be our bear cycle bottom here around December of, well, it wouldn't be December, right? It would probably be around May. It would need to be around May. They usually happen about, wow, that'd be a ways off. The tops usually happen, or the bottoms usually happen about a year after the tops. So yeah, I mean, perhaps the extension wouldn't hit until then. This is how far down it would get to. All right. You got the upsides, you got the downsides. Let's look at these indicators. So you'll see the RSI, strong. Stokes, overbought. Now, I will point out, though, that every time that we've seen these big moves this cycle and in previous cycles, the Stokes have been overbought. Right over here as well. Stokes, they got a little higher and then they got overbought and then kept moving up. Same deal here. Moving up during overbought stochastics. So this could be a prime moment for the continuation to the upside, for that big move that everybody wants to see happen. And you can see it back here in the last cycle. You'll see that the Stokes came up and they kind of stayed up there until that first RSI peak, and then it came down. You'll notice that the RSI kept coming in with lower highs. We actually had divergence, bearish divergence on RSI here as well, and it still kind of came up. Look at that. This was the exception to the rule here. Low Stokes came up, kept going lower, yet price action kept coming up, and then finally it broke down and then came up for that one last hurrah 2021. So yeah, just because the Stokes are high doesn't mean it's going to go down. It's going to turn around and head down. This could be when it moves higher. Now we are seeing a similar bearish div here. I'll make it red for visibility's sake. Higher highs here on price action with lower highs here on the RSI. Although, I mean, the RSI could swing up and get higher, but it probably won't. But you'll notice, like I said before, this happens. We usually have the peak well before. We usually see the peak in the RSI during a bull cycle when price action breaks over its previous high. Right there. Broke over it, you saw the peak. And then after that point, we do not see RSI reach that peak before. We did here. Did we? Here? Nope, same deal though. Got higher. So let's look at this one. Look at that. When it broke all-time high, the previous all-time high, that was when we got our peak. From there, we're getting lower peaks. Same deal here. So there's a chance that we still go up, but we do have that bearish dip. That means that we're reaching closer towards the end. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3 RSI pumps. From here, we got 1, 2-ish, 3, 4 RSI pumps. So let's see if we can get one more out of this cycle. But that's not guaranteed. All right, let's talk about where the depths of the bear cycle will take us. You'll see that we have had drops of 86, of 84, took about 52 bars, 59 bars first time. Then it was 77. See, it keeps going down. 77, 52 bars, same amount. So now if we're talking about 50 bars and roughly, let's say it keeps going down, well, let's say 74. Well, let's say from the top, right? Let's say our cycle peaks out around 150. Well, then our bottom gets down to roughly 37, 38. If, however, this is our peak, our top, our all-time high for the cycle around 130, well, then we'll move down to 23-ish, which is also roughly around where this extension of the double top here would be on the weekly. And if we were to get down this being our peak, or even this being our peak, well, then I think we're not going to get, let me bring that back up to 74. There we go. 30. See? Still 30. Everything's pointing to 30. Move this back up here. 30. Let's move this up here one more time. 30. So where's our bear cycle bottom going to be? 30. When is it going to hit? About a year after our peak. If our peak is right around here, well, then our next cycle bottom will be right around here. I'll put an X. I'm going to draw an X there. This area right there. 30. Yeah, 35. That's going to be our bottom right there. All right. I know I'm running a little late, a little long on this one because I'm going over this weekly as well. But yeah, weekly's looking more bullish than bearish, but we are, have to start thinking about the bear cycle at this point. All right, I'm gonna real quick go through these ones. Let me add one more song to this playlist. And there we go. Okay. So let's take a quick peek, see here what's going on. Should I start on the daily? Let's start on the 90 minute. Okay. 90 minute. Oh, it's turning around. Look at that. Turn around. Found, where's the last time I made a video? I made a video on the 24th, probably right around here. So yeah, we came up, we bounced. We, did not break over our old support, local support, acting as resistance now. Draw that line right. You know what? Am I gonna draw it? I'll make a line. I'll make a line right there. That's old support now acting as resistance. So let's see if 108 can hold right now. That's what we're looking for. If not, we're heading, back to try to bounce off this 200 like it just did here. Got down to it, came right back up. Let's see if it can do that again. Stokes overbought or oversold. RSI in bearish territory. Under the signal line. Also under the signal line. This is showing bearish momentum and bearish movements. So over the next day, the 90 minutes kind of tells us what the next day is going to bring. We're going to be looking for some more downside. However, let's look at the 22 minutes just to see. Well, maybe it'll turn around. Maybe. We're not seeing any bearish divergences, anything like that. So yeah, if this 108 level can hold, then yeah, maybe this will turn around. I got a little double bottom going here. On the 5 minute, Stokes are getting reset quickly. Confluence on RSI now. All right, 1 minute. No, everything's still under the 200 as well. So let's, if the 1 minute can get over the 200, the 5 minute can get over its 200, and the 22 can find its way back over its 200. Well, then, yeah, perhaps the 90 will push back up. 108 will hold. However, those are big ifs. I don't see no bullish divergences. So we're going to go ahead and say more likely it's going to the downside tonight and tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at the 6-hour chart. Let's take a look-see here at the 6-hour chart. All right, 6-hour chart. We've fallen back under this support structure. So this is now a resistance, again, an upward trending resistance that we will need to break in order to move higher. We were looking for a wonky little head and shoulders to play out. It hasn't, so that's kind of good. We're finding support at this level. Stokes are moving to the upside. They've kind of turned around though. So if the 90 minutes can find its way to pushing back up, then the 6-hour Stokes will keep pushing up and RSI will keep pushing up, and there's a good chance we see another all-time high. However, if the 90 minute dunks down on us, especially if it gets under that 200, well, then it's going to be driving that 6-hour back down into bearish territory. RSI will fall into bearish territory, and we're on our way. We've already broken under the 21. 21 is now above price action here on the 6-hour. Got the 50 to save us, maybe. That's that 200 on the 90 minute, actually. It's those kind of correlate because these are all like 4 hours differences, or 1/4 of each other. So like 90 minutes is 1/4 of 6 hours. You get 6 hours is 1/4 of a day. Anyway, so then that means that the 50 on the 6-hour is the 200 on the 90. Anyway, so yeah, We'll see if that can hold. If not, we're heading back to the 200 here. We'll have a stop at 99.6 and possibly have a, hold there and bounce there. But yeah, we're probably heading back to the 200, or at least meeting up with it somewhere, hopefully over 100K, in order to keep going up. Otherwise, hey, bear cycle, we're coming for you. I'm ready. I've been selling. I've been taking profits. I'm sitting on dry powder. Okay. Okay. Still going long. Still going long. Probably going way too long. Daily. The daily chart is oversold on the stochastics. RSI is starting to point to the downside, showing downwards bearish momentum under its signal line there. We have been moving up and to the right. I've said this for a long time now, almost since April 8th. So almost 2 months now of up and to the right. That's not sustainable. We need a big pullback. We also want to see a higher low in order to tell us that we are actually turning this trend around and heading up. How low can we go? Well, hopefully we stay over 100K. 99.6 can hold and we stay over 100K. But anything higher than this low in April still presents us with that bullish case. However, if we get under the 200 here on the daily again, this purple line, which is currently hanging out around 94K, if we get back under that 200, well, say hello to the bear market. This little golden cross here, though, the 50, the orange line crossing the 200, that's a very bullish signal. So let's see if it goes the way we think it's going to go, the way that I was looking at it on the weekly. Because the daily's looking like it could turn around. And honestly, it looks like it needs to. 21's caught back up with price action, though. And we do see some bullish indications here on the lower time frames. The RSI here getting saved by the median line, trying to stay in bullish territory. Yeah, still being over the 200, still being over the 200 here. Like, things are still more bullish than bearish, but we want to see us stay over the daily 200 price action. I say us, we want to see Bitcoin's price action stay over that daily 200 in order for us to stay more bullish than bearish. That's how I play it. 200 is very important. Okay, I'm going to stop this. I'm going way long. I'm at 18 minutes. Jesus. Jesus. All right. Much love to you and yours. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.